Okay, so who here wants to be rich? Yeah, me too.
Okay.
But sometimes I think about all that financial stuff and it's kind of, well, overwhelming.
It can definitely feel that way, all those numbers and jargon.
Exactly. But that's why we're here.
Yeah.
To break it down and make it, dare I say, fun.
Absolutely. And today we're diving into a book that does just that. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi.
Love that book. It's on my nightstand right now, actually.
Smart move. It's packed with actionable advice, and today we're focusing on a topic that can really make a difference in your financial life, optimizing your credit cards.
Music to my ears. I've always wondered if I'm really using my credit cards to their full potential, you know.
That's a common question, and what's fascinating about credit cards is that we often get caught up in the numbers, the interest rates, the APRs, but what Sethi brilliantly points out is that it's not just about the math, it's about psychology.
Psychology? Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more.
Think about it this way. How many times have you made a financial decision based on a gut feeling, something you were told growing up, rather than really understanding all the options?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I still hear my grandmother's voice in my head. Cash is king. Credit cards are evil.
Exactly. Those are the invisible scripts Sethi talks about. These deeply ingrained beliefs about money that we inherit, they can really influence our financial decisions, often without us even realizing it.
So how do we rewrite those scripts, especially when it comes to credit cards?
Well, that's what's so refreshing about Sethi's approach. He doesn't tell you to cut up your credit cards and live like a monk.
Thank goodness.
Right. He wants you to understand how to use them strategically to play offense, not defense, with your finances.
I love that, playing offense. It's like instead of just trying to avoid debt, you're using credit cards as a tool to build wealth.
Exactly. And one of the key weapons in this game is a good credit score.
Okay, so I know having good credit is important, but to be honest, it's one of those things that makes my eyes glaze over. Can you break it down for me?
Sure. Think of your credit score as your financial GPA. It's a 3-digit number that tells lenders how responsible you are with borrowing and repaying money.
Okay, that makes sense.
And just like a good GPA can get you into a good school, a good credit score can open doors to lower interest rates on loans, better credit card rewards, even more favorable insurance premiums.
So it pays to be a good financial student, literally.
Exactly. And the good news is you don't need to be a financial wizard to achieve it. Sethi provides a clear roadmap, and one of his most powerful tools is what he calls the 6 commandments of credit cards.
6 commandments of credit cards, huh? Okay, now you're speaking my language. I'm ready to hear more about these commandments. 6 commandments of credit cards, huh? Okay, now you're speaking my language. I'm ready to hear more about these commandments.
All right, get ready to take some notes because these are life-changing when it comes to your finances. Commandment number 1, this was huge, pay off your credit card balance in full every month.
Yeah, that makes sense. Avoid those interest charges. But is it really that big of a deal if I'm, mostly paying it off each month?
It's massive. It's the foundation of everything else. Think of it this way. Carrying a balance is like renting your financial freedom.
Renting my financial freedom. Okay, now you're hitting me where it hurts.
Exactly. You're essentially paying a fee, sometimes a hefty one, to use someone else's money. Sethi's adamant about this. Paying in full, it's non-negotiable.
Okay, got it. No more renting my freedom. What's the next commandment on this path to financial enlightenment?
Commandment number 2 is all about taking control. Don't be afraid to negotiate with your credit card company.
Negotiate. Like I can actually call them up and haggle? I always thought those rates were set in stone.
That's a common misconception. People are often hesitant to negotiate, but it can be incredibly effective. Sethi even provides scripts you can use.
Scripts? Like he's got the magic words to make them lower my APR?
He does. He gives you the exact words to negotiate lower APRs, waive annual fees, even get late payment fees reversed. He actually talks about how he helped his friend negotiate $2,000 in fees.
Whoa, $2,000. Okay, I'm sold. What else could I potentially get out of these credit card companies? Spill the tea.
Well, that leads us to commandment number 3. Understand the perks that come with your card. So many people are leaving money on the table by not taking advantage of these benefits.
Perks? Like what? Free coffee with every purchase?
Think bigger. We're talking automatic warranty extensions, travel insurance, car rental coverage, even access to exclusive events. These perks can save you hundreds, even thousands of dollars per year.
It's like having a secret stash of cash hidden right under my nose. I had no idea. All right, hit me with the next commandment.
Commandment number 4, keep your main credit cards for a long time and keep them active.
Wait, really? Even that old one from college?
Yep. Lenders like to see a long credit history. It shows you're reliable.
So that dusty old card is actually doing me a favor by sticking around. Who knew?
It's demonstrating your financial track record. But this doesn't mean holding on to every single card you've ever had. Just keep a few core cards that you use regularly.
So quality over quantity when it comes to credit cards. Got it. What's next?
Commandment number 5, increase your credit limit.
Wait, hold on. Isn't that like giving myself permission to spend more? That doesn't sound very financially responsible.
It's not about spending more. It's about something called your credit utilization rate. That's how much of your available credit you're actually using.
Okay, so if I have a higher credit limit, but my spending stays the same, my credit utilization rate goes down. Why is that so important?
It's all about how lenders see risk. A lower credit utilization rate tells them you're not maxing out your cards, you're managing your credit responsibly. It basically shows you've got a safety net.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. Okay, lay the final commandment on me.
Commandment number 6, and this one's a biggie. Don't get sucked into chasing every single credit card offer that comes your way.
But what about those 0% APR intro offers? Those seem like a pretty sweet deal.
I know, they can be tempting. But constantly switching cards can actually do a number on your credit score in the long run. Plus, it just makes your financial life way more complicated than it needs to be. Sethi recommends finding a couple of solid cards that work for you and sticking with them. Remember, it's about playing offense, not playing tag with your credit cards.
Playing offense, not playing tag. Let me write that one down.
Yeah.
So we've covered the 6 commandments, but what about folks who might already be, wrestling with some credit card debt? Does Sethi say to just cut up all their cards and swear off credit forever?
No way. He gets that life happens and sometimes we find ourselves in debt.
Huh.
He believes you can still use credit cards strategically, even if you're carrying a balance.
That's a relief because, let's be real, credit cards are pretty much unavoidable these days.
Absolutely. But Sethi also acknowledges that debt can be a real emotional drain. He talks about how it's important to address those invisible scripts that might be holding us back. Those limiting beliefs we talked about earlier.
Like the one that says, I'm never going to be able to get out of debt, or everyone has credit card debt, so it's no big deal.
Exactly. Those thoughts can become self-fulfilling prophecies if we're not careful. Sethi encourages us to challenge those narratives and replace them with more empowering ones.
Easier said than done, right?
It definitely takes effort, but it's totally doable. And it starts by acknowledging that we all make mistakes, and more importantly, that we can learn from them.
So where do we go from here? How do we actually start tackling that debt? So where do we go from here? How do we actually start tackling that debt?
Well, Sethi's approach is all about taking control, not burying your head in the sand. Step 1, he says, is to figure out exactly how much you owe.
Okay, so rip off the Band-Aid, look at the numbers. No more avoiding those credit card statements.
Exactly. You can't manage what you don't measure, right?
Makes sense. So once you've had that sometimes uncomfortable confrontation with your debt, what's next?
Then it's time to make a plan. Sethi talks about a couple of different methods for paying down debt, and he's careful to point out that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding what works best for you.
Okay, so what are these different methods? Give me the rundown.
One popular method is called the snowball method. It's all about building momentum by starting with your smallest debt and paying it off as quickly as possible, regardless of the interest rate.
I like that. It's like checking things off a list,
Yeah.
Every little win keeps you motivated.
Exactly. And that feeling of accomplishment can be really powerful. Now, the other method he talks about is the standard method, which focuses on paying down the debt with the highest interest rate first.
Which, mathematically speaking, makes a lot of sense, right? You're minimizing the amount of interest you're paying overall.
Exactly. So it really depends on your personality, your financial situation, and what's going to keep you motivated in the long run. But here's the thing. No matter which method you choose, Sethi really emphasizes the importance of being proactive. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and negotiate a lower interest rate with your credit card company.
Okay, so even though I might be feeling kind of, powerless when it comes to my debt, I can still advocate for myself.
Absolutely. You have more power than you think. And remember those invisible scripts we were talking about. This is a perfect opportunity to rewrite any negative beliefs you might have about debt. Instead of telling yourself, I'm drowning in debt, what if you reframed it as, I'm taking charge of my finances and creating a plan for a debt-free future?
It's like choosing to focus on possibility instead of being, paralyzed by fear.
That's it, exactly. And remember to celebrate the small wins along the way.
Yeah, because every little bit counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Every payment you make, every dollar you pay off is a step in the right direction. Give yourself credit for the effort you're putting in, and remember that financial freedom is a journey, not a destination.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of credit card optimization with Ramit Sethi, let me just say this. You don't have to be a financial guru to master this stuff. It's about understanding the rules of the game, being strategic, and taking control of your financial future.
And remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's also the most important. So go out there, check your credit score, negotiate those interest rates, make a plan, and get ready to experience the freedom and peace of mind that come with financial empowerment.